any of this sitting down no more. I've been out the loop for too long and I come back and my cycle is gone. There's some weird horse in there now. And then you take a break for almost a month. I ain't messing around no more.
Soda.
Oh yeah, I'm still falling through the abyss.
Axe.
Now give me that rod, boy!
Whoa, hold on there. I didn't say you could grab my rod.
Then I'm taking it anyway!
Oh, that one.
Now with these powers combined, I can finally climax!
Climax form.
So, you're a cat boy now.
You better get that right. I'm welding climaxing then on you.
Cool. You want to recap episode 26 then?
Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Give me that script. Now let me go ahead and get on my horse. Taya's got a special delivery for Lightning Corp while the Machirians remember the good old times with Mad Rex. And revive a Gruma with new tricks. All this while Shirabe recaps the show thus far for her Wait. This is a recap episode? Anything good happen?
Well, the toilet groomer doesn't have the same powers as he did before, but everyone thinks he did. What he actually has is the power to get that cardboard little tube cylinder thing from outside of inside of you, making everybody just a little bit tired.
That don't make no sense!
Well, have you ever tried taking the roll out of a toilet paper?
No! I use baby wipes for this here behind.
Ah, yes, the info I definitely did not need. But listen, look, the best part of this episode is actually the very last 2 minutes of it.
We get Rainbow Road!
No, but even better, plot. But the package that Taya delivers finds its way towards our newest general, Disrays, who Genba's got clear issues with. See, look, this is definitely getting an A for sure.
Man, there still ain't no Rainbow Road. You know what? I'm just gonna go.
Well, that's great then. Didn't even get a proper intro, so we just kind of went into it. But hey, let's just continue going right into it. Genba is throwing a fit at the new general on the block, only to reveal himself as a cat boy. But losing his cool when he fails to land a blow. We get some more light on the teases from before, with the ISA head chit-chatting with Lightning Tech's head about the new general. It seems that the ISA itself is involved with the Space Mafia, keeping a leash on them of sorts, while Lightning Tech uses the technology previously used by Cannonborg to reverse engineer Killer Robo. While back on base, everyone's wondering what's up with Genba, but given Sagito's space travels, he's aware of Catboy's homeworld being Planet Breaky. You know, just like Genba's surname is also Breaky. But it turns out that that's not even his real name. His real name is...
Genba dotte Dibari ni
Not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
That's some original shit right there. Turns out that he's the heir to Space Amazon. That is, until the Hashirians attacked and Desrace was that guy. And you know what, while we're at it, this race actually knows his stuff. He's all about the analytics and how to get that target demographic, pitting Genba's dad for a crime that he didn't commit. Which sounds awfully flash up in here lately. So Genba escaped his homeworld and runs into Taya, giving him a hand since he's been using his ship as procurement supplies for Taya this entire time. And that lollipop? Well, he needs the sugar to stay in human form. But now that his secret's out, the ISA has got to get him under watch. But that is at the very same time that we get Carpet Gruma getting that gas. while Sakuto reveals himself to Disrace. And though the Boomgers succeed in getting that Gruma, Sakuto fails at Disrace, revealing that he's got some big plans in store. But with all that happening, Genba decides to leave the team, but is gifted his changer so he can resume being at least orange. And oh, was that a fantastic episode! This one is gonna be getting that Sononi S Plus Maximum Thirst. Someone get the fireman because the kitties lose. 28 teases brand new mech as Taya is getting his mind off of Genba. But Joe and Mira just can't help but reach out. Taya goes to apologize to his mentor and head of Lightning Tech Raida, who literally is playing off his suspiciousness by giving Taya some kids' drawings. While Disrace gets the others to find Mad Rex's dog, just to use the stored gas from last episode and force the dog to go number 2 and unleash the fury from his behind. He's also amped up their key and executes his plan to luring humans to a cafe just to lock them up and siphon all that gas and straight to
Rainbow Road?
I thought you left, but it's already gone. Mad Rex reveals himself to the others, but it's almost like he's not really himself, but a shell of who he was. But Taya got dibs on those pipes, so the others handle the Gruma. But it's really Joe's time to shine here, since he was so torn on Genba's leaving of the team. This passion and fury gives us one of the best transformations yet, going all into that fight, and taking the lead as they go big. However, Disrace realizes something about that Gatai, piecing things together and calling off Mad Rex, all as Chashido gets the call of a job by the ISA. This right here is actually a really good follow-up to what the previous episode showcased, and thus it's getting that Shinken S. 29. Chashido is out chasing the local Yakuza when Sakuto wants in. All this while Taya and the others suss out why Mad Rex just don't feel the same. While the others question Chashido's disappearance, Taya explains that he's working his regular ass job, which is being a spy, and dropping backstory on him breaking into Taya's house, but failing at the most basic of traps, a tripwire. Shitty screen greenery aside, why was he here? But to investigate Bundrio. And he was put up to this by none other than the ISA.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
Well, let's check in on info brokering, and it's the guys from episode 1. Man, this is a gag they really just keep using over and over again. Since the young master is all about some BoonB, Sakuto gets hired. But that is when the Hashirians show up to finish what they started. Oh, they forgot that was a thing. Well then, with the distractions all around, Chashido managed to secure what the ISA was after. A Hashirian ignition key. But how would the Yakuza even have that? Well, it turns out that Cannonboard was still making backdoor deals behind the scenes by having the Japanese Mafia team up with the Space Mafia, and in return, they get first dibs on running Earth. Even when he's not around, we're still finding out about his dealings. Now, I gotta say that the action sequences for this episode are a little weird. They're very odd. From the BoonBoomgers speeding into taking on Mad Rex, to awkward punching sequences from Blue and Violet. That being said, I did enjoy the Gruma's commentary, and that when the fight does go big, he does make use out of his shoulder rings to give them the mallet. But that is until Blue and Violet, who finally gets inside another BBC, give him that fist. While on the Mad Rex front, we have Taya knocking on that dome, retrieving that lost memory. Only for Genba to stand in his way and get Madrex to realize that this race is here as well. Finally, Jashido manages to deliver that ignition key, only for us as an audience to come to understand that the ISA and Lightning Tech are actually the real masterminds. And look, as great as the majority of that episode was, what held it back was the budgetary holdup during that fight and action sequences. So for that, it's going to be getting the ABBA Ranger A! Lab 3 really is starting off strong, as I found Lab 2 to be really boring and not moving the needle. This go around, we have a lot going on that just makes it a lot more enjoyable to watch this show each week. This race being introduced is a vast improvement over Cannonborg, since he's actually getting shit done. He is amping up the production of gas while he's upgrading the Hashidian's gears, and he overall just holds a lot of stock. While the others failed to deliver the gas to their intended recipient, this race has a pipeline that ensures delivery. He also managed to revive Mad Rex and did so with the memory being blocked. Sure, that didn't last long, but the fact that he did shows that this guy has done so much in a little bit of time spent just speaks volumes over Cannonborg. Cause that man was literally coasting, and sometimes he would just disappear for episodes on end. But with that being said, it's also implied that the reason why this race is able to get through as much as he has is because he's got a little bit of help. Yes, now that we know that not only the ISA but Lightning Tech are involved with the Hashidian invasion of Earth, we have further insight into the potential that we can have going on here. Now, I don't know what subs y'all have watched, but the line of dialogue that I had in mind was having the head of the ISA state the Hashidian stewardship belonged to them. Stewardship essentially means that these guys are in charge of funding and managing them, meaning that the production of the Boom Boom Killer Robo wasn't really all Cannonborg. And we know now that Lightning Tech is developing multiple. And now, with their possession of an ignition key, they will likely see about the technology that goes into that and mass producing that as well. We also got insight that the ISA was after Bundrio at one point in time, but gave up. Probably due to the fact that now they have a symbiotic relationship with Taya and Bundrio through Shida Bay and Joe. However, as the shows progressed, it's easy to see that their allegiance will stay with Taya and Bundrio. Though both might be a little conflicted given that their duty-bound nature to their organizations, but yeah, it's still something that I still see them tying with Taya and Bundrio at the end of the day. But then we throw in Knight Rider, which I guess would be the proper way of alluding to the head of Lightning Tech, who is the guy that raised Taya, or essentially taught him everything that he knew about making money, and still seems to be a very close figure with him. But the fact that he's now tied with the ISA and now the Space Mafia. What I wonder is, how long ago was it that he got involved with the ISA and the Hashidians for that matter? Was it before or after he found out that Taya was Boon Red? And were they ultimately responsible for why they came to Earth in the first place, or did the Hashidians make a contract with them first, similar to how Cannonborg was making deals with the Yakuza behind the scenes? Really, this new added prospect with the inner workings of the Space Mafia being tied into regular Earth organizations really brings into a whole new aspect of this season that makes it stand out amongst recent entries within this franchise, where humans are bad guys too, willingly, especially if they are war profiting from it all and eventually have their own soldiers. Remember, very early on, the ISA actually reached out to Taya to take control over the BoonBoomgers for themselves. And then of course we know that they wanted Bundrio back in the very beginning. So they either wanted Bundrio just to see how he worked, or they wanted to see how he came up with the tech that he did the way that he did. But now that they've been acquiring alien tech themselves based on the Hashidian front, they don't really need too much in terms of that aspect. But still, evil tech? Wanting boomgers? Evil BoonBoomgers? But another thing that came about from this was the fact that we got the hint of Death Race knowing Bundrio, or at least knows what he or who he really is. And initially in my early videos, I had speculated early on that Bunrio could have been related to the Space Mafia, maybe even the Big Bad himself, and then Bunrio is a man of many secrets in many fronts, or at least he keeps a lot of things close to the chest. But with Death Race being far more up the food chain than any of the previous commanders that we had previously, he does give a glimmer into a potential backstory aspect of Bunrio. So maybe those early theories might be somewhat on the money. Genba finally gets outed as a cat boy and delivery man. Neat. Actually, I do find that the additional background on him was indeed unique, especially since he was so reserved for the longest time. If you go back to episode 8, right after he joined the team, he was questioned on how he procured most of his stuff, especially after he revealed that the Boom Boom Racing was actually made using parts that he procured. But now that we know everything that he got came from his spaceship, essentially using its parts as spare parts, I guess the Boom Boom Racing is partially a retrofit of Genba's ship. Though of course we know that not everything that he procured was actually part of his ship, but at least we know most of its origins lie with it. And another thing that's really cool is just the fact that we have a new rivalry between Genba and Death Race, which just dramatically changes a lot of the tone that we've got going on here, as he's no longer part of the main team to the point that they've slowly been weeding him out of the intro. Y'all notice that? Like, now he's just looking sad, and before he was just turning away from the group during the little scene showcasing them all, and now he's not even there. It makes me wonder if they're gonna actually take him out of the team proper going forward and he just becomes an extra ranger, meaning that they would have an opening for yet another BoonBoomger on the squad. Like, remember that negative space that I mentioned that was present in the opening now? They can make use of it. It's like, sure, Genba's gone out of it, but hey, at the end of it, you know he's gonna be back. And with that, I'm still leaning towards Shirabe turning against her place of employment, because obviously, she's going to choose Bunrio over the ISA any day of the week. And that could still net her a spot on the team, since at least the connection is there and they wouldn't need to fill in the void with yet another new person being introduced to the cast. Now thinking about it, Mad Rex has potential as well, since we don't exactly know how the dynamic between him and Death Race will go now that he's got his memories. Will he play it dumb, or will he just go at it solo? Taya could really swing the pendulum towards his side if the final villains aren't Wild Spindler or whatever the name of the Space Mafia head boss is, but fellow Earthlings. He might be getting some Hashidian defects onto his side, and that really could shake up a lot of things. But then there's still like the Boom Boom Grand Prix, and they just keep failing to mention it. And at this point in time, I'm really thinking it's not even going to be a lap 3 thing, it's going to end up being a lap 4 thing. Worst case scenario is that it ends up actually just being the epilogue of the show proper, where now that everything is said and done, everyone's had like their backstories fleshed out, every like major conflict has been taken out. Now everyone has a competitive race against each other, good guys and former bad guys, all with their own goals on the line, but leaving the winner of said race ambiguous. You know, I feel now that that's how this show's gonna end. Hopefully I'm wrong, but those are my thoughts. What are yours? What are your thoughts on lap 3 thus far for BoonBoomger? Genbar Delivery II, Mad Rex Fury, this race, and the whole human conspiracy. Anyway, that's it for me. Catching up over. We are done. We are caught up. Now hopefully we can actually maintain these weekly flows. Anyway, that's it. Until next time, see you real boom.